But today, I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'll never stop it.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me, but they hate from inside.
All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Unscripted here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. As always, I'm your host and producer for the show, Logan Landers, and joining me, as always, it's my guy, Jay McLovin. Today, we're talking some spring training. Jay, how are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing well, sir. Doing absolutely well. Curious to see where my Astros are going to do during this spring training. I'm looking forward to seeing all these rookies get out there and see what they got. God knows the Dodgers kicked the crap out of the Padres yesterday.
You ain't kidding, man. And we're talking spring training, but we're not talking it per usual. We're talking if it should be shortened, because as we know, spring training lasts around a month or so. Each team plays around 30 games, and they don't get a whole lot of time off in between that. But before we get into it, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. We are live on all the following social media platforms you see on your screen, on Facebook, on X, on TikTok, YouTube, and on Twitch. And also, you can check us out on LinkedIn. If you want to connect with us on a professional level, if you want to be a part of the network and pitch in and help out, that's the best way to do so, is to shoot us a message over there, and we'll get back with y'all in a timely manner. And also, Jay, you can check us out on our podcast as well. Same name, Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. We are up on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and hoping to expand to other platforms here in the very near future. So you get audio versions of all of our shows that you see each and every single week. All right, Jay, let's get into this little kind of, what we've been doing here lately, just talking a little bit back and forth, just bantering and whatnot, about just kind of whatever's on our mind. And obviously, as you mentioned, with spring training now underway, with the first game being played as of the time of this recording yesterday, with the Dodgers and Padres, in which the Padres, it's one to forget. I think they were still in vacation mode. But we're talking more so about, what we like about it, and ultimately answering the question of if spring training in general should be shortened in more years to come. So Jay, we'll let you start things off, man. Just give your background, give your thoughts on it, and we'll just roll with there.
Yeah, there's a lot of pros and cons to this. I've been following them for a while now. The Astros, I'm going to use the Astros for example. And there's a lot of pros, right? The pros for a shortened season is less wear and tear on the batters themselves, the pitchers' arms, things like that, right? But that's really about the only pro I can think of a shortened season. I don't think it should be short. If anything, I think it should have been the way it was a year or two back, a little bit longer, because you got to think, man, injuries, conditioning, chemistry, evaluation time, adapting to whatever new rules has been put into place, checking out these umpires, getting used to these umpires, weathering, all those factors come into play when you're trying to get ready for a season. And I just don't know, Logan. And I'm gonna start off with this. I just don't know how you can shorten a season and think you're gonna have a great regular season.
No, I mean, I think that's a good point. And I mean, you brought up some valid options there, valid opinions. And I mean, you mentioned it's, conditioning, it's making sure everyone looks good, seeing if your top prospects are ready to maybe come up to the big leagues a little earlier than expected. But Jay, I'm sure you've seen the big challenge this year is none of that. The big challenge this spring training, Jay, in 2024 is the jerseys and the pants.
Oh, yeah.
Because the MLB has underwent a new brand, a new manufacturer for their jerseys and for their pants and whatnot for the season. It's going to be Fanatics is the company behind it. I believe it's a subsidiary of Nike. I could be wrong. And man, it ain't good. I'll find a photo here and throw it up on the screen for y'all to see. But of course, we'll give some audio descriptions as well. But
right,
Jay, for the love of God, what are they doing? I mean, it is see through. You can literally see, and this is what I'm keeping clean. You can see a lot more than just the jerseys tucked into the pants. And I'll let your mind do whatever it wants to do. But Jay, what were they thinking? I look, the players have said that they like the fact that it is lighter, that it's more, I guess, aerodynamic in a sense. However, whenever you're getting rid of material, it has to leave somewhere, and we're seeing unfortunately all the parts where it's gone.
Yeah, I don't understand about the aerodynamic part of it because, quite honestly, a lot of players in MLB, they like the baggier pants anyway. A lot of them use those baggier pants, the full length pants, not the ones that like not the Jose Altuve style where it goes to the knee. I mean, they go all the way, in some cases even covered up part of the shoes. So I don't understand. I don't understand what Major League Baseball is trying to. I mean, I don't know if they're just trying to get to a lesser thread count to save money. I don't get that, man. The players themselves have said the jerseys look amateurish.
Yeah,
they don't look professional. They don't like the fact that you can see through their damn pants. They don't want that crap out there.
And I mean, you can see it up on the screen. I'll even make it a little bit larger. I mean, you can see, Jay, where their jerseys are tucked in, for God's sake. And also, too, I don't know about you, but it looks like the belt loop is noticeably wider. Like they don't have the belt holes like you get on jeans and everything. That's kind of large. But yeah, you definitely need to be wearing undershirts and a couple pairs of slides underneath that, man, because what are we doing? It's just it's not a good. I get there. It's a brand new company or a brand new manufacturer, right? But and I know that they are actively attempting to change this, but when you're hearing from, I would say it's the vast majority of the league, and you're hearing all the criticism from them, from players, coaches, media outlets, fans. I mean, because Jay, I've seen photos where the letters are like falling off almost on the back of the jersey.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I mean, they don't have patches anymore. It's like, it's not like the really good, rough kind of, rugged patches you can feel and gloss over. These is kind of like stitch on. It's not even stitched. It's just on the jersey. You can just kind of glide through it. So they've taken a lot of the character, I think, out of it. And also, I can speak on the Braves and their jersey, Jay. They have new piping on the short sleeve, on the arms, right?
Right.
So before, in last year's jersey, the piping was, I don't know, about an inch or two above where the shirt cuts off. But now they've put the piping right at the very bottom of it. So like there is no like white in between it. It's just, it goes from the white jersey all the way down to the piping. And it doesn't look good. I mean, I think the backs of the jerseys is the worst offender, Jay, because what they've done is they've curved all of the names to some degree. and it's just
Yeah,
it's
I
not
don't
a
like
good
that.
it's
That
not a
doesn't
good
look
look.
good.
Yeah, it's just it looks cheap. It looks cheap, and this is from a for sure multi-million-dollar company.
Well, and another thing, I don't care about the belt loop size, whatever, but definitely the fact that you can see through it, the fact that
Yeah.
they're getting away from the stitching on the letters to go into a more like printed on name. I mean, come on, man. What are we going back to church league softball or something? I mean, what's next?
No,
Big
yeah,
names on the
it's
back of the jerseys. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, pretty soon are we getting Velcro on the jerseys? I mean, come on, man. At some point,
yeah.
you can't get rid of what makes a professional jersey look like a professional jersey, right? I mean, pretty soon are we going to start seeing sponsorships on the back of jerseys? I mean,
I mean,
I don't
and
know.
so I'm just looking over articles, and an anonymous player from the Baltimore Orioles said the look of it is like a knockoff jersey from TJ Maxx, and I think that's kind of spot on. I mean,
Yeah, the one
but
guy, I think one of the baseball players said, "Hey, run down to Dick's Sporting Goods and get me an extra pair of pants."
yeah, I mean, that's how bad it is. Is you've got players. I mean, and I'm sure it's going to happen, man. We're going to see one game, or very soon, I'm sure, where someone slides into second base, feet first,
Oh
and
yeah,
just a giant hole is in their baseball pants, or
oh, I see that.
someone dives head first, and three of their letters on their back on the back of the jersey falls off. Like it looks poorly made. And for a company with as much money as they've got, they got the rights back in, I believe, 2019 for millions and millions of dollars. I mean, come on, you gotta look good. And look, I always get that they've always tried to make the jerseys not feel like wool, and they have made some good adjustments over the years. Don't get it twisted. But yeah, these just look like something that you would get for your local rec football team or baseball team. And just order them in bulk, because no one's a fan of them, it feels like, or at least a large majority, and it's just not a good look, man. But
We've come a long way from the Babe Ruth.
Oh, brother, you're not kidding.
Wool jerseys, those big thick wool jerseys, to spandex jerseys almost.
And Jay, I was just looking on Twitter just a minute ago, and someone says, according to the Associated Press, the San Diego Padres wore last year's pants for their spring training opener. The Padres are still waiting to get their new 2024 pants back after they made requests for alterations to have them fit the players better.
Interesting.
Wow. So the fact that they had to, because I guess they didn't have extras, they had to wear last year's pants. Oh, man.
I'm not going to be surprised, honestly, if baseball scraps this whole thing and just goes back to what they were using. I don't see this lasting. I think this is just something that baseball was going to try out. I think the players have spoken volumes, and I think they're going to go back to the drawing board. I don't think we start opening day with these pants. I might be wrong. Maybe they do.
The pants, I hope.
If they change
I think the jerseys are going to stay, because obviously they've already made mass bulks, right? But the pants, I think you have to fix. That's inexcusable. It looks cheap. The fact you can see through them, for God's sake. I mean, come on. That I feel like the pants definitely need to be fixed before opening day. Jerseys, I think it might just be too late into production.
But I don't think we see these jerseys come next
Not
season.
long. I
wouldn't be surprised.
You know what? I think the real kicker is, Jay. It's not going to be the players complaining, and by all, they have all the right to do. They're the ones wearing it, and as you just said, it's the fans. It's how many jerseys is each team selling at their games or online. And I don't know about you, man, but from the people I've seen talking about it, it's been widely negative. I mean,
if you want to buy a damn official Major League jersey, you're spending almost $200 for a jersey. Yep. Could you imagine them trying to charge $200 for that crap?
No. That's a $50 jersey, not $150 or $200 jersey.
It looks better than that.
Right. You can find a knockoff website that has better quality from everything. It's crazy, man. But just getting back to the general topic, of spring training. I don't know about you, man, but do you think they need to expand where they play? Because they only play in 2 states. They play in Florida and they play in Arizona, which I've always thought was very odd. I mean, you have 30 teams and you're just kind of, putting them all around these 2 states. I mean, I get you don't want to do the travel. I completely understand that. But you can at least do some of the, that's why if you do shorten spring training games, if you do cut down on some of that, have it to like local cities, or do it in like minor league ballparks across that might need some money just to help out. And I get that they've, manicured and made all these fields look great for all these teams, but I don't know, man. I feel like they're just kind of missing something by just having it in those 2 states. I feel like even if you do just run it in 2 states,
right?
Or look, you could do. I could even see them doing 4. You split each team. I mean, there's 30 teams in baseball, 15 apiece is what they're doing, but you could split that up in a couple of ways. I know you're not going to be playing the same amount of teams and whatnot, but or as many teams, I should say.
Right.
But you would definitely get you would get more fans in whatever states you put them in. I mean, you could put them. I mean, like we say in Texas or Atlanta or or New York or maybe even some smaller town places. Right. Like, put them in Maryland or North Dakota. Not North Dakota. Like,
I think
Illinois or something. Wisconsin, yeah.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin would be a good state. The thing about it is it's really hard for guys who pitch in closed stadiums that are air conditioned or heated, to keep it at an ambient temperature, right? Mm-hmm. It's really hard for guys to do that and then go and play, let's say in Yankee Stadium or another stadium that was it Wrigley Field or Boston or whatever, where they're outdoor stadiums and they got to play in that cold weather, because it really does take a lot for you to warm up your pitcher, get his arm when they're not acclimated to that type of weather. So it really does play a factor, and it'd be nice to see if Houston, for example, who plays in, obviously in a warm dome enclosed stadium, could go up to someplace like, Wisconsin or, anywhere up north, really. I just think Wisconsin's a good spot because they like baseball. And they could draw a crowd there, and it's cold there, and then they could really get more acclimated to the type of season, right?
No, for sure. And obviously, I know you can't do college places because college baseball is underway, and so is softball.
Right.
So I understand you can't do that, which is kind of unfortunate, because I think that'd be pretty cool, man. Just have these major league teams go into all these college stadiums, and look, I get the dimensions aren't there, but. For me, for spring training, man, I don't really look at stats per se a whole lot. I mean, I get for your rookies and whatnot, obviously,
right.
But I don't really care if Spencer Strider goes 5-0 with 35 strikeouts, or if he goes 0-5 with 5, because I know that these guys aren't giving 100% because they're just getting warmed up. They only pitch a few innings, also, and batters only play for half the game. They get an at bat or 2,
right?
And some To me, it's just it's just getting these guys prepped for the year. It's not, oh, how did this guy do? And obviously, if someone has a phenomenal showing, you give them credit, of course, but you got to realize that they're not facing the highest quality pitching. Yeah, you might face a Max Scherzer or a Blake Snell or someone for an inning or possibly 2. But after that, man, you're for the most part getting some guys who have been fringe AAA guys or lower minor league players who were looking to shine. So, but no, I think that would, if they were to shorten the spring training, my suggestion would be to break it up into like 4 or 5 different states to expose just some other states to what spring training's all about. And obviously, I think it would. I don't know how Wisconsin's weather's looking right now, but it's got to be someplace warm. That's for sure. I think. 'Cause I don't think the players. I don't think the players in Florida and the players in Wisconsin or Colorado or whatever. I don't think that if you're in those colder environments, you'd be a fan. But I think that would be my suggestion if they ever did shorten it. But I think the main thing too we saw last year with spring training, Jay, and that we saw play into effect. Obviously, the whole season was all of the brand new rules that were introduced. With the bigger bases and the pitch clock and the pitching mound visits and all of those. I mean, I remember last spring training, Jay, we were talking about it. How many pitchers were getting popped for basically just being too late to start their windup. I mean, it happened
absolutely.
A lot.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, players did learn from it. They had to, or else they were going to get called for it.
Right.
So I feel
just to give you a hint, so Milwaukee today is 40 degrees with a 12-mile-an-hour wind with a feel-like temperature of 32. This is where Houston needs to be playing right now.
Get them in the cold and just
get
kind
them up there, man. Let them get acclimated to that, right? Because again, it goes to injuries. Just what you're talking about. How many times do we, how many pitchers and how many hitters went down to injury at the very first month or so of actual regular season? We lost a lot of players in the regular season due to injury, Logan.
No, we did, and I think that everyone kind of talks about it in football because obviously you're playing outside for the most part in terms of playing with the elements, right? Because as you know, Jay, because you've traveled a lot, obviously, the weather out in Colorado is a whole lot different than the weather in Texas and California.
Oh yeah,
and same with like the altitude, obviously, because I mentioned Colorado, you got to bring up the altitude, and it's just the how hard it is to breathe sometimes and whatnot in certain states due to just everything going on. It's just getting more trained up for the year. And I mean, for me, when I look at spring training, all I want to see is, first and foremost, I want all my starters healthy in the lineup, pitching rotation. I just need them to be healthy. What they do in spring training, I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care if they go hitless. I don't care if they smack the cover off the ball. I'll be optimistic. I'll be sad for half a second and just be like, all right, as long as we get them to the 162, that's all that matters to me. And
but there's a couple of things though with that, Logan. With the shortened season, another big thing you're also losing is chemistry. The chemistry between your catcher and those young pitchers that are coming up. You're losing, and the big thing about that. Let's talk about that. Even the evaluation time for young guys coming up. You're not going to see these young minor leaguers getting the ample amount of evaluation time to show what they can do in the big leagues. So when you do get those injuries and your starters do go down, and you got to go to your farm system to bring somebody up to replace this guy, well, how do you know who to really truly effectively bring up? Because you haven't seen enough evaluation time on the guy to actually really know 100% what you're getting. I mean, minor leagues can give you a little bit, but this isn't major leagues yet. And you got to know what you're getting with these guys, especially when pitching. That's extremely critical when you got to bring a pitcher up from the minors. But again, you're using a lot of evaluation time. And that to me is the biggest con to a shortened season is you don't get that evaluation time in. You don't get enough time for a new coach, whoever's, like for example, the Astros got a new manager this year. How much time is he going to have to really instill his philosophy and get what he needs out of those players for what he wants the players to do or how he wants the players to react? You're not getting enough time for your infielders to field ground balls, to see how the new turfs are, this, that, or the other, to learn how to play off. And then ultimately, you're just losing at bats. So if you got a starter who may be struggling a little bit, well, you don't have enough time to work with him. You're going to have to use the in-season time to work with this guy to fix the swing. So there's a lot of things that are issues. And then now that Major League is coming in, and and again, they're going to tweak the pitch clock again. So now you got to get even more used to that. I mean, we're just not giving these guys enough preparation time to actually have a truly effective regular season.
Right. If you were to shorten spring training,
Right.
and with just a couple minutes left, Jay, one thing that solidifies my answer of why I don't think they will shorten spring training, and they really, sold me on this, and I think a lot of people when this first announced, Jay, but from March 14th through the 17th, and I guess it's only 3 days, but it is the inaugural, Jay, the inaugural MLB spring breakout. Now, for those who don't know what that is all the teams throughout the league, in the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League, it's a series of 16 exhibition games that will be comprised between teams' top players in their organizations. And a new initiative that just kind of showcase the young talent, put them front and center, and so that you really get a good look at these guys. It's not it's not obviously you're going to see your star players and a hot prospect sprinkled here and there. No, man, they're going all out for a few days. And I think that's a great concept. I think it shows that the MLB is trying to show some love to the minor league baseball, which we've talked with, broadcasters, players here on the channel, who we all think the world of, and think those men and women working down there definitely deserve some more love and more recognition.
Right.
So, I commend MLB for doing that and for shining a light on these players. And I think it's going to look good, man. I'm excited to see how, this first set is going to be, because first time ever. I'm curious to see, how when we watch it and who plays who, which prospects are going to immediately jump to the top, and you'll see everyone buzzing about whoever it may be, and say, oh, okay, maybe the Angels should call this guy up, or maybe the Brewers should get this guy. They need him for the starting rotation. And I think that's a really good idea. And it really, as I mentioned, it really shows that they're trying to put some stock into these young players and just kind of get their names out there. Because as we know, man, for baseball, there's a lot of players out there. Your name can get lost in the shuffle just like that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. No, and that, again, there's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things. I think that that they're teasing spring training with, and I just don't like it. I don't like the modified innings where if your pitcher gets in trouble, they'll rather than keep putting pressure on his arm, they'll take him out, whatever, and start it over again. They're not letting these pitchers learn how to pitch out of situations and stuff. And that's another issue that I think is going to be plagued in the regular season, is because of that. So I don't know, Logan. It's just a lot of things that they're doing. Some things I like what you just mentioned, and then things I don't like. And I feel like our teams are going to be hurting over the long run if they decide to shorten up this season even more, or the spring training even more.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, with kind of the new wave, I guess you could say, of pitching, with starters, only going 4 or 5 innings for the most part. What was it? Last year, Jay, Blake Snell, who, as we know, has been a great pitcher, had a phenomenal ERA and still waiting to find a team. Jay, guess how many innings he pitched last year?
A lot.
108, only 180, believe it or not.
Really?
But in the years prior, he pitched 128 and 128. And because remember how San Diego does things too. And San Diego's kind of like Tampa. My final point here. They only have the starters out there for just a little bit, and then they get you to the bullpen. So, and I think we're going to see more of that in baseball, man. But Jay, give us your final thoughts, man. Should spring training be shortened? Yay or nay?
No, please don't shorten spring training. If anything, maybe don't expand it more than what it normally was back with Nolan Ryan and all those, back in the old school. To keep it like that. Keep it a little bit longer so we can get some more evaluation, conditioning, and chemistry building. All
right. Well said, Jay. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, once again, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe on all of our social media platforms, being on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and on X as well. Check us out on LinkedIn, and go check out our podcast available on major podcast streaming platforms. Until next time, everyone, go watch some baseball. We'll talk to you again on another live episode.